Hi everyone, my name is Thru and I am picking up from my last video, Taurus Moon, and in this video I'm talking about Taurus Moon in the 12 astrological houses. Okay, so in my last video I just kind of touched on like the basic how Taurus Moon kind of operates, and in this video it's basically like the houses are basically how you so let's say let's say your Taurus moon is in a specific house, so you're doing all of those things, all of those Taurus moon things, but in the specific house is going to be which house it's directed in. So first house, right? Let's talk about first house. If you have your Taurus moon in the first house, so off the back, right? Taurus is already exalted in the moon, and I already spoke about this in my previous video, which you should watch before you watch this one if you want to. But if you have okay, actually, let's talk about what the first house is. The first house is your personality, your personal interests, things that are personal to you, your personal insecurities, personal affairs, things that are not associated with, but the personal things that are in your personal life, right? So see, when it goes down to the people and places and things that are in your personal life that kind of make up who you are. Right, so this is even your clothes, because your clothes shows out your personality, right? Your clothes, things that you're just personally interested in and things that you're personally invested in, right? So if you have the moon here, now off the back, the moon doesn't like being in the first house. Because in here it kind of makes it all about itself, so you react and respond to your own personal life, right? And then in this you take things personally, so you react and respond to, because you react and respond to your personal life, right? Everything that you receive is going to be it's going to be filtered through your personality, so then you take things personally, you know what I'm saying? And if there's Taurus here, Taurus is valuing, it's Venus, it's appreciation, if you have this, you probably are Taurus rising, or you probably are a Aries rising. Because then you could have Taurus in the second house, but because it didn't quite make it, it could be in the first house. So yeah, you could be Aries rising with this, or you could be a Taurus rising itself, right? So with this, with the moon being in the first house, and Taurus is valuing, it's appreciation, it's love, it's compromising and shit like that. But most of all, it's like having a foundation. It's building a foundation with this. So you, as a Taurus moon in the first house person, not only do you react and respond to your personal life, but you value your personal insecurities. You value your personal, the people, places, and things that are in your personal life, right? You like to build foundation in these things, right? So in a way, like because Taurus is stubborn, you kind of don't like to change, right? But for the most part, you kind of like to add the Venusian part to your personal life, right? So your personal life may be very stable. You may have people that are in your personal life. You don't like for them to not be in your personal life, right? But in this way, it kind of makes you a stingy person, right? In terms of Taurus energy basically doesn't like to share a lot of things, even though they are very generous in things, even though they are generous with if you need help, they can give you their time and da 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 da. But if it's in the first house, right, with this placement, you kind of you value and appreciate, and you like to build on your personality, right? You probably are. But once again, Taurus placements anyway, you're a very chubby person, very, very thick. Think of Janet Jackson. I think Jill Scott has a Taurus moon. I'm not sure. No, she doesn't. She has a Sagittarius moon. But yeah, what's her name? Janet Jackson, Adele. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, yeah. So your exaltation with the moon here, right? So the moon is already exalted in Taurus, right? But if this energy is predicated in your first house, then you might have a very a big personality, but it's very calm though. You're a very calm person. I feel like you're a very calm person, even though your personality is somewhat this is the place where you exalt at. So you love and appreciate your personal life. You love and appreciate people and places and things that are in your personal life. You love and appreciate your personal appearance. You love and appreciate your appearance, so these are the kind of people that like to make sure that they always smell good, look good, more so than just an average Taurus sun sign. Because I feel like Taurus energy does this anyway, but in the first house, if it's reacting in the first house, this is your personality, this is your personal life. So this is something that you like to protect, you know what I'm saying? So you protect that. And you may also like not like a lot of people knowing about your personal life, even though you may present yourself in a very stable, calm way. And your personality is kind of like somewhat, it's exalted, right? It's very much like, it's big, but it's not like Aries, like boom, kind of in your face, or like, with that passion. It's more so very calm, cool, collected, you know what I'm saying? So you appear to be someone that like, to people who are looking in, you may appear to be someone that's very like, you have your shit together, that type of thing. You may appear to be someone that kind of knows where they're going, or like the direction. You look like you have direction. And this is also what makes you feel comfortable, is having direction, you know what I'm saying? And you like when people view you in that way, and you don't like when other people impede in your life, or when they impede in personal things that you don't want them to know, you know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. And then if it's in your second house, right? So this is a bigger exaltation, right? Because already Taurus is ruled by the second house. So if your moon is in the second house, it's already an exaltation. But if Taurus is there, then it kind of like doubles that energy. So not only are you someone that likes to build within yourself, and not only are you someone that is very like structured, and you like having somewhat of a routine, and you love and appreciate your routine, and you like to stick with that routine for long periods of time, right? But if it's in the second house, it makes that double. So double the energy. So you're someone that really values, you love and you value. And this is your self-worth, right? So your self-worth comes from valuing yourself, right? So you have the energy that you exude out. People can feel that you're someone that you don't need outside references to build stability and self-worth and self-love, because you already innately have that within you. And even though maybe as you grow up, because as we grow up, we're young, and we're still developing in those ages, so you may not really technically have some sort of self-worth, but you do reach it a lot quicker than other people. But even if you don't technically have it, you already exude the energy that you do have it, right? So this is where you may get haters, right? Because you also with this placement, you're very beautiful, right? So eventually when you do start like realizing your self-worth and realizing that you have so much to offer, because you have like this exaltation place. So now it's like a double, like a quadruple exaltation energy. You may like have a lot of people that hate on you, people that don't like giving you the satisfaction of telling you that you're beautiful. People may even put you on a high pedestal. You may have friends that even like put you on a very high pedestal. You may have friends that like end up hating on you for no reason, but the reason is that like they don't have the self-worth and that I don't need external things to make me feel comfortable, and you may have a lot of people around you that do cling on to other people's validation, other people's validation, other people's compliments, But you as a Taurus moon in the second house, you don't need that, because you innately have that, and you innately know that about yourself. So people who don't have that may hate on you, and then you may grow up thinking, what the fuck, I don't understand. And then you may start like kind of analyzing, oh, okay, people just put me on a very high pedestal and they expect me to be this way. But sometimes like I'm not all like I'm the shit, whatever, like everybody has their ups and down days. It's just that you as a Taurus moon in your second house, just the general energy that you give out, you're just like very like self-sufficient, and people who don't have that hate on that, because whatever you don't have or whatever you lack, you try to like draw in, you know what I'm saying? And if you see somebody like you, Taurus, in the second house, if you have that, it's kind of like threatening to other people. Because it's like, oh wow, how do you, like, I don't have that, but why do you have that? Like, what do you have that I don't have? You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, these people are very grounded with themselves. These people are like the kind of people that have like a very good relationship with themselves. But on the negative side, if they're into like bad habits, they may have a very good relationship with their bad habits, so they may overdo these things. Taurus energy obviously likes to eat, likes the good smelling, tasting, hear sounds, the good things in life, so they may like value and appreciate those things, but to a maximum, and they may not like when other people kind of like try to intrude with those things. So like the kind of energy like, don't touch my food, don't touch my boyfriend, don't touch that, unless you are within my circle, then okay, you can have that. Yeah, I love you. See, that's I love you. So this is a necklace that represents my love for you. That type of thing, you know. But if it's outside people, it's like, don't fucking touch my people. Don't touch my shit. That type of energy, you know. But if you have your Taurus moon in the third house, right? So your exaltation energy in the moon is going to be predicated on third house things, things that you're familiar with, your siblings, your neighborhood, your friends, your neighbors, you know, things that you're familiar with. So the spa that's like around the corner from your house, the spaza shop that's around your house, that type of thing, right? So in this, you may have a lot of like, you may firstly a lot of your friends, or the friends that are gravitated towards you, or the friends that you usually attract, or even your siblings, right? These are people, your siblings can be people that always like kind of look towards you to kind of gain like direction in their lives, you know. Or you may be someone that, or you're generally the person that like people, you're like the tree, you're like the foundation of your friends, you know. You may be like the mother of the group of your friends, or you may mother your siblings, you know. You may be the more responsible one in your siblings, you know. But for the most part, with it being in the third house, you also value and love and appreciate things that you are familiar with. So you value your friends, you love and appreciate your friends, and you manifest best when you are around your siblings, or when you are around things that you're familiar with. You know what I'm saying? So you may be the person in the whole neighborhood that people know, like, oh wow, that person always gets what they want eventually. You know, that person, you may not move out of that area, because once again, Taurus is a situated, stuck, rigid sign. But people know you as the person that, like, you know, you're the one with the best clothes type of thing, or you the one like, you may not even be like rich, but you know, your mom has like, or you know how to sew your clothes in such a specific way that it's like very beautiful, you know. It's like you have that Venusian quality to your clothes, and people around your area know you for that, you know. But you love and appreciate also, these are the people that like to write a lot, and they love and appreciate poetry, you know, because the Venus aspect will add it to the third house qualities, right? So all that Venus is going to be predicated to things that you're familiar with. So if you're familiar with like a specific talent, then you're gonna want to, like, you get situated in, for example, playing the piano, you know. So you're the person that, like, if playing the piano, you've done that since you were like 3 years old or whatever, you know. Like, you know how to play the piano really good, so you like build on that. So like the neighborhood knows you for, oh, you're the girl that plays the piano, you know what I'm saying? And then you gain stability from that. And also people kind of gravitate towards you because you, like, your siblings, like I said, your siblings, your friends, they gravitate towards you because they're like, oh, she can teach us how to like how to build within our own stability, that type of thing, you know. And then if it's in the fourth house, if you have Taurus moon in the fourth house, now once again, this is a placement that the moon really likes to be in, but only here it's home. It's not exalted like it is in the second house, but it's home here. So with this, with your Taurus moon in the fourth house, you are somebody that, like, you, this is, I feel like this is also a really good manifesting placement. Like the second house and the 12th, and the, not the 12th house, the second house and the fourth house are really good at manifesting things. And if Taurus is here, then it's like it makes it double the amount of the ability to manifest these things, you know. So with Taurus in the second house, I mean the fourth house, right? Fourth house is your privacy, your domestic issues, your family, you know, the feeling of comfort, your emotional comfort, right? But not like the stability of it, just the emotional, the watery side of it, you know. So with Taurus here, you do basically what you're doing with already having a Taurus moon, you know. You're building practically your emotional foundation, right? So this makes it double, but this makes you a very private person, you know. You're exalted whenever, so you're basically somebody that, like, you're like a walking home, you know. And if you have Taurus moon, this is like, and if it's in the fourth house, it's like once again a double emphasis. So you're like a walking home for other people, you know. A lot of broken, you may attract a lot of like fucked up people, come from broken homes, and then you always feel the need to nurture them. And how you nurture them is by showing, is not only by, because if it's in the fourth house, right, so you're already connected to the watery side of it, right? But with the Taurus, there is how you may present it is, okay, I'll make you a warm meal, and then that warm meal, because it has all the emotional, like the emotional soul that you make the food with, that's how you kind of heal people, or that's how you show, like that's how you give your emotional comfortability, right? Because it's always, if Taurus is there, it's always going to be shown practically, right? But with the fourth house being in here and the moon being in here, you're gonna know how to kind of like take the emotions and feelings of it, and then put it into the physical thing of it. You know what I'm saying? So these are people that can like help you like with your emotional things. They can help you kind of deal with your emotions in a very nice way. These are very, very private people, very family orientated. They kind of like, I feel like they can be somewhat moody people, because fourth house really is, it's the house of Cancer, and Cancer Taurus are cool homies, but you can be very moody with this placement. But for the most part, you're very stable in your emotions. You're not like a chaotic person. You're not like a Gemini moon or even a Cancer moon. Even though Cancer is home in the moon, but just like the ups and downs of being moody. I feel like you're not so much like that. You know how to kind of like take those emotions and do something about them, and like focus and have like a tunnel vision of like how you're going to practicalize and like take those emotions and bring them down, manifest them down into reality, and kind of make them make sense. And you know how to make other people make sense of their emotions. You're the type of person, I feel like you'd be a really great psychologist, even a great mother, because you know how to like neutralize or just calm people's very chaotic emotions. Especially Sagittarius moons, Pisces moons, Gemini moons, Virgo moons, Aquarius moons also, and Aries moons. You know how to just calm those people down. Just by you being calm. Sometimes it could also make them mad, because somebody else might be like, dude, how are you not mad at a situation where they feel like you should be mad at? But for you, it takes time. Taurus just likes to take time on these things. But yeah, and then if you have Taurus moon in the fifth house, right? Now, okay, Taurus technically isn't the most expressive person, and I have a friend with a Taurus moon in the fifth house, and like she's not. Maybe at home, actually, yeah, because Taurus moon obviously is like a very homey person, a homey placement, right? But the fifth house is how you express yourself, how you have fun and how you have fun and enjoy yourself. Sorry, I had to check if I had any mouth sperms, because I have them in like our other video. But anyway, yeah, fifth house is how you have fun and entertain yourself, how you enjoy yourself, things that you like to entertain, and what you are entertained by, right? So now I have a friend with a moon in the Taurus moon in the fifth house, right? And they're still they're a Libra sun sign, which, so they sign it in the sun is in the 10th house. So their actions are showing some kind of stability. But anyway, it's not about her. So if you have Taurus in the 5th house, right? So you bring all of those Venusian, I love food, I love my senses, and you bring them into your 5th house, which is how you're gonna enjoy yourself. So this still kind of has like a stable quality to it. So you're consistent in things that you're entertained by, right? But I feel like depending on your sun sign, right, it's going to be expressed. Because, see, the 5th house is the house of expression, right? So you can kind of think of this as having like your sun sign in Taurus also. And Taurus sun sign people are also very stable people, right? But if it's in your 5th house, how you enjoy yourself, you may enjoy all those like, you may enjoy sleeping a lot, you may enjoy fucking, you may enjoy eating, you may enjoy watching movies, even though sometimes you would have to be very comfortable with somebody to be very like the very 5th house funny, childlike, haha, oh, that like, just silly kind of like, like if you have the Taurus moon in your 5th house, you may like outside, because see, your moon is like what people don't see. This is like type of thing where you'd have to be comfortable with somebody, and somebody would have to be comfortable with you for them to show you how they react to things and the world that they live in, right? So with the Taurus moon, it's still kind of a stable quality, and it's not like Aries where it's like, right? But because it's still in the fifth house, you still have those childlike qualities in your moon, right? And you get entertained by a lot of like childlike things, right? But because it's Taurus in here, it's like you never appreciate like Venusian type things. So eating food, like you may also with this placement, you may overindulge in these, like you overindulge. See, if you have your moon in the fifth house in any sign, you may overindulge in those things because the fifth house is like fun and shit like that. And if it's conjuncting Jupiter once again, wow, you do that excessively. So you need to learn, as a Taurus moon in the first house, you kind of need to learn when to, like, just have boundaries, just know when to stop, when to do things, when not to do things, like just know when your limits are, because you may like do something, you may overly like gain weight, and then boom, you have diabetes, and because also Taurus is like a very situated sign, you may not even, because I remember my grandfather, before he died, he had diabetes, and he's a Taurus sun sign. But even regardless of him having diabetes, he still had cake, because it made him feel good. He still had cake, he still drank his Coke or whatever, he still like had fries, he had like a whole bunch of things that he was still eating, a whole bunch of things that he was like eating before and even during his diabetes. So you as a Taurus sun sign, you may not even give a fuck that like you have illnesses or whatever, because if it makes you feel good, you're still gonna like be situated in that feeling, and you won't like when other people try to force you out of that, and you won't like when people tell you, dude, like, yo, this is enough now, because you don't, as a Taurus moon, this is what makes you feel comfortable, so you don't like people taking you out of your comfortability, right? So those kind of people kind of like, they're like somewhat of a threat to you, because this is, once again, this is how you have fun and enjoy yourself. And this area of life, because your moon sign is in the fifth house, this is the area of life that you're predicating, or that you're directing your exaltation at. So also with this exaltation, you're exalted in having fun. So you love having fun so much. You love eating a lot. You love eating good food. You love like having your warm, comfortable clothes, cloths, whatever. You probably like. These are the people that probably like. It would be very difficult to drop a habit for them. If they started smoking from a young age, like 18 or whatever, they probably smoke for the rest of their lives. Because they're also loyal to anything that makes them feel good. And if it's in the fifth house, then this is something that they have fun with, and this is like, that whole thing is like their emotional comfortability. This is the world they live in. This is how they get nurtured. This is their nurturing state. So if you try to take them out of that, it's like taking a baby, like it's like ripping a baby out of the mom's boob from feet. You know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, that's Taurus moon in the fifth house. And then if you have Taurus moon in the sixth house, right? So your exaltation, you as a Taurus moon, and all the things that I said in my previous video, you put these things in the sixth house, right? So your exaltation will be in working, having schedules and routines, your health, doing things day by day, nurturing your physical body. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like with this Taurus moon person in the sixth house, I feel like they may not be as chubby as a lot of people, because for the most part, they're probably like, what makes them feel comfortable is working, right? So these may be somewhat like, they may have a job they may like work in the same place for a long time and not like change. You know what I'm saying? These are people that like to stay stable in one job. Right, and they like to stay stable in having their routine. So if a Taurus moon says, I'm running every day at 10 o'clock, that's what they're doing for the rest of their lives, or until they formulate another thing that they're going to change in. And then they have that. But for the most part, they're consistent in their schedules, and this is what makes them feel comfortable. So they won't like when somebody else comes with their own schedules and tries to like change how they do things on a day-to-day basis, And also what makes them feel comfortable is working out, because sixth house is your health, This is the house of Virgo. But like here, what makes you feel comfortable is having a job. You don't, and you may not feel comfortable like not having a job. So you may be somebody that like you'll create your own job. You'll create your own things. Or like I said, when you find a job, you'll stick to that job for a long time and you'll be loyal to that thing. But for the most part, also what makes you feel comfortable is, you may be into yoga and you do yoga on a day-to-day basis. You may jog every day, but you have that one specific workout routine that you do every day. And also with like hair products, with skincare products, you've probably used the same, like if you use African extract, you've used that, and you're going to use that for the rest of your life because it works for you and it helps you in your own skin. These are people that whatever routine or whatever that they use, because sixth house also rules habits too, right? So getting back to the smoking thing, right? It's different if it's in the fifth house because this is how you enjoy yourself. But if it's in the sixth house, this is your habit. So this is something that you do on a day-to-day basis. So they may smoke every day, or they may overly do it. Or if they drink, they may drink every day. You know what I'm saying? But everything that they do, if it's in their schedule and if it's in their routine, they're gonna stick to it. So even if like these are even people that like going to school, and they don't like, some schools that like usually change their periods because one teacher quit, or I don't know, something happened, so they have to change the schedules of the periods. These are the Taurus moon person in the sixth house won't like this. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, oh my god, I had already situated myself in how I'm going to Mrs. Tree, and then I go to Miss Leaf, then I go to Miss Sun, and now it's all changed up, and I have to go see Mr. Weather, and then I have to see Miss Sun, and then I have to see Miss Leaf. You know what I'm saying? So it can be like a little, especially like, so yeah, these are people, and they like things to make sense, because once again, this is a house of Virgo, and they don't like when people kind of like shift their way of thinking in the sixth house. But for the most part, yeah, what makes you feel comfortable and your exaltation place. So yeah, you love and appreciate, and what makes you feel comfortable is working, having a set foundation in your routines. You know what I'm saying? You don't like when people come to you and like, oh, let's change your routine, let's do it this way. You're like, no, this works for me. But also, I feel like with this one, you also may be very particular with what you eat, because once again, it's dealing with house. Sixth house is dealing with your health. So I feel like with this placement, you may be a Taurus moon who's a vegetarian or vegan or a pescatarian, or I don't know, whatever you are. But I feel like you're a lot more careful with what you eat and what you put in your body, because your moon is like, this is how you feel comfortable, things that make you feel comfortable. So I feel like sometimes you even get sick if you like kind of like, you kind of get sick if you do something that isn't on your schedule, or just either makes you feel sick, or you just feel very uncomfortable with that, basically, And then if it's in your seventh house, right? So your seventh house is your relationships, how you relate to people, how you relate to people, places, and things. I was needed. I was talking for so long. Okay, but yeah, the seventh house is how you relate to people. This is the house of Libra. So how you relate to people, places, things, like sharing, like, oh, you came from this background, I came from this background. What do we have in common? Boom, that's great. That's compromise. So you say something. It's not like Aries where it's like, I'm saying something and I don't really give a fuck what you say. But it's like, you say something, I say something. You say something, I say something. And then we do that thing where we have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? So if you have the moon in Taurus in the seventh house, right? What makes you feel, and you're the type of person that likes to build on relationships, so it may not even be with like other people, because once again, Taurus moons are very private people. So like even at home, you like to build relationships when you're speaking one-on-one to people. So you like, you like the type of person where your mom is cooking and then it's just you and your mom and you're helping your mom out and you're having conversations, and that's basically how you build a relationship with your mother, just by talking and relating, and your mother tells you about things that happened to her in her life, and you're like, wow, like me as someone that's been in high school, I kind of went through something similar. And then your mom was like, yeah, I remember the time that's why you were feeling sad that day. And then you're like, yeah, mom, oh my god, but now that you told me this story, I'm kind of like seeing how we're like related and how you and I kind of similar, that type of thing. So you build foundation in your relationships, and you maybe somebody, like if you start dating somebody, you don't like to like, you'd want to date that person for the rest of your life, and you won't like, because Taurus already if they're situated with you, if they're dating you anyway, sun sign, moon sign, Venus sign, whatever, if they're dating you, they don't like to change. But if it's in the 7th house, this is the house of relationships, right? So you may like to date somebody for the rest of your life. You know, you're probably the type of person that you get married to your high school sweetheart, like high school sweetheart type of things. You know, you get married to your boyfriend or your girlfriend that you met in high school, and you don't like to you like to work on your relationships, basically. You know, you like to not work on, but like build your relationships, you know. So you may even like to have a business with your partner, but that's more so really like 10th house vibes. But either way, you know, you may like to just build a relationship with your people and not like you wouldn't like to like separate from these people. You know what I'm saying? So even like, let's say this person does try to break up with you, you'll do your utmost best to like, I don't know, kind of fix the situation so that it like, so you guys don't break up, you know. And then if we have your Taurus moon in the 8th house, right? Now this is a not so nice placement for the moon, because the moon does not like the 8th house, even though it's in its exaltation place in Taurus. This is the opposite sign from Taurus, right? Which is the 8th house, which rules Scorpio. So with this, you as a Taurus, moon sign in the 8th house, right? So first of all, like I said, the moon doesn't like being in the 8th house, because in here it reacts and responds to death and desires and secrets, and like your own secrets. So it's not so much about nurturing the home and nurturing about the feelings. It's more so kind of very selfish in being secretive and feeling comfortable in secrets and feeling comfortable in your desires and sex and rebirth and like kind of transformation, you know. So it's not very stable like it would be in the 4th house and the 2nd house. It's very shaky, you know, and it enjoys things that Mars enjoys, because Mars is home in the 1st house and the 8th house, right? Because then it can just like it destroys, and then it can like build again. So if it's in the moon, you a lot of the times like your moon in the exaltation place, right, which is in Taurus, if it's in the 8th house, right? So you kind of get exalted in like tearing down shit and like transforming shit and then building it up again. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you love, and with Taurus there, you love and appreciate these things. So you love and appreciate people's secrets. You love and appreciate your own secrets, and you love and appreciate the skeletons that you have in your closet. You know what I'm saying? And you love and appreciate like having sex. But already with Taurus, this is like, see, the kind of sex that Taurus has is more so like the sensual, Venusian, you know, like I'm picturing like Marvin Gaye type of, you know, that type of thing. But in the 8th house, it's more so about like, I don't know, it's a lot more intense, and it's a lot more serious, you know. And Taurus people they're not so much about like the destructiveness of Pluto and Mars, you know. They're more so about, let's just chill, you know, that type of thing. But if it's in the 8th house, then they appreciate those things. They appreciate the you know, they appreciate like other people's secrets, and they appreciate when other people come to them and tell other people, and when people come to them and tell them their secrets, and they appreciate transformation. You know, and they like to stay stable in those things, you know. So these are people, it's kind of like, it's like you like stability, right? Because this is what makes you feel comfortable, is being stable, right? But what makes you stable is shit that the moon doesn't even like, right? So you gain your stability from secrets, you know, from your desires, from desiring shit, from somewhat being manipulative. You know, you love and appreciate these things. You know, you love and appreciate, and you gain stability from kind of like emotionally maneuvering your way through things, and, you know, emotionally penetrating people so that these people do things for you, you know. But for the most part also, you kind of, with this placement, you know when other people are manipulating you, right? And then with your Taurus energy, you kind of know how to like just turn your back away from these people, because you already know what someone is about to do, or you know what they're trying to do, you know. But sometimes it may be a thing of like, you you kind of don't give people, like, you don't somewhat, like, okay, you may stay in a situation for a long time to kind of see it through, but sometimes you could be, you're not right, even though you may be right about it most of the time. Like, okay, I know this person was doing this because they meant this particular thing, but sometimes people, you may be around an air sign and they just say things and do things just because they're air and they're here and everywhere, and like, but maybe as a fire sign, you may be able to see through that, and another earth sign, you may be able to see what they're trying to do if they're trying to manipulate you. um yeah. And then yeah. So with this, it's great that you have a Taurus moon in the, like, it's great that you have a Taurus moon, but it's just like the end, like the how you're directing your Taurus moon is in the placement that your moon doesn't like to be in, because now you're a secretive person. It's not like, if you have a Taurus moon, it's kind of like you're like the isolated one at home. It's like debilitated here. So the moon, it's not doing things that it usually feels comfortable with. It's kind of uncomfortable in the eighth house. So at home, you may be the one that, like, you cause the drama somewhat. But even though you may have, like, a really nice relationship with, you may have a nice relationship with your family, it could also be a situation where there's a lot of secrets in your home. Even though there's comfort at home, but there's a lot of secrets at home. Or your mom may be a very secretive person, or your mom may have been the type of person where, like, how she got all the comfort, or your parent, I don't know, your family, they may be, like, on some drug dealer shit. It's like you have the Venusian part of it. Yeah, you live in a really nice house, but how they got the money for the nice house is like, you just didn't know how they got it, or you did, but it was like some chaotic desire and eighth house shit. You know what I'm saying? Where it was like, whoa, you guys went through, like, guns and all of that type of thing. That type of thing. It could be that, or it could have been your parents came from a very hectic background, or your mom came from a very hectic background, or you maybe have a single mother, I don't know, or single father, but, like, you have a nice house. It's just like somewhat, it's a bit chaotic. You know what I'm saying? Or you also may be very chaotic within yourself, because it's also like an opposition type of thing. So it's like pug and tell, like, do I be secretive, or because I mean, you're already a private person, but it's like, am I going to be secretive? And when people tell me their secrets, am I going to use it against them? That type of thing, that could be the thing. And then if it's in your ninth house, if you have Taurus moon in your ninth house, then so all your exaltation things are directed into the ninth house, which is the house of philosophy and experiences, and gaining wisdom and knowledge. Because, like, think about any experience that you go through gives you wisdom, right? Because you go through things. It's one thing for your friends to tell you how a shroom trip was or acid trip was, but it's another thing for you to actually do acid and, like, go experience it yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing for your friends to, I don't know, tell you what Spain was like, but it's also another thing for you to go experience what Spain is like. So every experience that you go through teaches you things, and, like, the best teacher is experience, basically. So if you put this in your ninth house, right? So also ninth house deals with, like, traveling to, like, overseas planets. I mean, not planets, overseas, other countries that don't particularly do things that your country does, or even just meeting new people, like foreigners. Basically the ninth house rules foreigners and foreign lands. So if you have your Taurus moon in this house, right, so what makes you feel comfortable, and your Taurus exaltation place is predicated in the ninth house, which means that you as a Taurus moon, what makes you feel comfortable, and also ninth house is like religion and spirituality, right? So you may have grown up in a very spiritual family, a very religious family, and that family valued, because of the Taurus side, they valued their religion, and they didn't change. Or you may have grown up in that, and you stick with that religion for a long time. or with that spiritual practice for a long time, you know, and you may be around other people that are like, for example, let's say you're a Christian, you know, and you have like Catholic friends, you know, you may not even like being around those people because they don't really make you feel comfortable, you know what I'm saying? Or on another side, what makes you feel comfortable is like traveling, and you know, and you plan out your travels, right? Because that's what makes you feel comfortable, is experiencing different things. I'm sorry. What makes you feel comfortable is experiencing like foreign things that you haven't experienced in your life, or things that you haven't experienced growing up, you know. So these are things that make you feel comfortable, you know. And you don't like when people come up to you and kind of like bring their own spiritual philosophies to you, because you've already situated yourself in your own spirituality, that type of thing, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so and like, because of the exaltation, it kind of enhances that, you know. So you may be the type of person that like you always go into spirituality to make yourself feel comfortable. So you may read the Bible because that makes you feel comfortable. If you feel sad, then you may read the Bible, or whatever you do, you know. If you're like into astrology and shit like that, you just may like watch a lot of astrology videos to make yourself feel comfortable, you know what I'm saying? And that's basically how you just gain your emotional stability, is from spirituality or from traveling. But if it has to do with teaching you about something, but see, here's the thing with this, I feel like you're like an emotionally wise person, you know. Yeah, you're like an emotionally wise person because you kind of understand like why you would feel the way that you feel, and then you add spirituality into those feelings too, you know. And then if it's in the 10th house, if you have a Taurus moon in the 10th house, this is also a placement that the moon doesn't like to be in, because where the moon wants to be nurtured and nurturing in the 4th house, in the 10th house it's like your reputation, right? So what makes you feel comfortable is having a reputation. So what makes you feel comfortable is being around people that have status. What makes you feel comfortable is you probably only date somebody if they or you always attract people that always like that are either like somewhat treated as celebrities, that get a lot of attention, but not like 5th house expressive attention. More so like they've built their, like people know them for something, you know, their reputation, because 10th house rules your reputation. So you may like feel comfortable with people who have reputation, who have some kind of status, because that makes you feel like emotionally comfortable, you know. And with this exaltation, with this Taurus exaltation, you kind of like, if you are the type of person, like you would like, you feel comfortable with having status, and you feel uncomfortable when you don't have status or when you're not known for someone. But here's the thing, you may be like still in high school, that type of thing. So you may be the type of person that dates that one guy or that one girl that everybody knows because, I don't know, she has really nice hair, or everyone just likes that specific person. So you gravitate towards them, you know, you date them, basically. And then if you have, but yeah, this could also just kind of like, see, if you have your freaking moon here in the 5th, I mean in the 10th house, I feel like you're also the type of person that like you like people with power, basically. You know, you like people that just like, that other people view as like, oh, okay, sure, that's someone that we shouldn't fuck with because this person has the power to kind of change and distort how the rest of us are going to be seen. You know what I'm saying? Or you could be the type of person, you know. But for the most part, because Taurus is here, you also like, what makes you feel uncomfortable is if people see you in a specific way that you don't want them to see you. So this is why, as a Taurus moon person, you may dress in a specific way, you may have your hair in a specific way, you may post specific things just so that people see you in a specific way, and so that you have a specific reputation. So you kind of like direct people's eyes in like where you want them to see, you know, like how you want people to see you, you know. Or you may like people that like present these specific things that you like, that you would like yourself to kind of have, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then if it's in the 11th house, right, I feel like the moon also doesn't like being in the 11th house because it's still Saturn, you know, it's home of Aquarius, and it's like air, and I mean, the moon doesn't like any of the air signs. But yeah, if you have your Taurus moon in, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna put some lip gloss on. I feel like my lips look real dry. Speaking of, you know, the moon in the 10th house. And I have like some lip blisters. But I put some Vaseline like every time I wake up. So it helps also. But I don't like dry lips anyway. Oh yeah, I was in the 11th house. So the 11th house, if you have your moon in the 11th house, as a Taurus moon person, so what this does is, your exaltation energy is going to be directed in the 11th house. So your 11th house is your association, people, places, and things you're associated with, unfamiliar things. So you know, your whole life you lived in the Kasi, and then going to Santon is an unfamiliar thing for you, right? But once you meet people there and you kind of make friends, you'll be associated with those people, right? So if you put the moon here, you feel comfortable with like kind of unfamiliar situations. You know, you may now here's the thing, you may be like with the Taurus moon, because Taurus is exalted here, so it's a really nice placement. So you may have had parents, or your household was probably very like there was always people coming in and out that you weren't really familiar with, but like once you had a conversation, it was like, oh, okay. But this is what makes you feel comfortable, right? Or it may not make you feel comfortable, but you always attract people that you don't know, and then you always end up like kind of sharing and like giving in your Taurus energy to them, you know, kind of building foundation with associates. But these people may always kind of be wishy-washy and disappear out of your life and then come back out of nowhere, you know. But this is what makes you feel comfortable. You like people that you're not associated with. I mean, that you are associated with, but that you didn't grow up with them, you know what I'm saying? You feel comfortable with these kind of people. Or like I said, you may have been in a household where in your house there was like a lot of people that just randomly came in your house, and then you were friends, and then it may have been a thing of, you know, when like you're young and then you have like you go to like Carnival City, or you go to like a mall, and then you meet that one friend, or you act like, I don't know, you let's say you're young and then you go to like a store and then you make friends with another young girl, you know, because you guys are running around like hiding in the clothes and shit like that, and then you feel comfortable with this person, and then obviously when you have to leave, you never see that person again, you know what I'm saying? And then you go home, it's kind of like, oh, okay, I'm home. But it also could be a thing of like you like specific shows that are unfamiliar to you, and that you become associated with, or that you become well acquainted with. Or it could be a thing where you're just into like what makes you feel comfortable, or things that your family didn't usually like, that your family don't watch, you know what I'm saying? So you may be the person that watches like a lot of sci-fi movies, but your parents like watching, or your family likes watching reality shows, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, so it's unfamiliar to your parents, so it's unfamiliar to your family, so that's what makes you feel comfortable, is like doing things that are unfamiliar to your own like family background, that type of thing. And then last but not least, this video is so long, but last but not least, if you have your moon in Taurus in the 12th house, right? So the 12th house is your subconscious. It is the collective conscious, but the collective subconscious and your own subconscious, right? So subconsciously you can take on other people's like somewhat stability, and then you can help other people be subconsciously somewhat stable, you know what I'm saying? Or it could be a thing of like because you see, if you have your moon in the 12th house, you subconsciously kind of take on other people's subconsciouses, or you kind of just like blend in without any somewhat self-control. But I feel like it's a lot better with Taurus here, because Taurus is very stable, and it's like very like it holds on to things, right? But I feel like here you're a lot more, you are stubborn, but it's a lot better than having it maybe in the 2nd house, or in the 5th house, or in the 10th house, or even in the 11th house, you know. You're a bit more changeable, right? Because you can kind of blend into how other people subconsciously think, right? And maybe you may not completely alter your entire life, but you may be able to help other people subconsciously know how to structure their own lives, you know, and like help them kind of, if these are kind of like manic people, you know how to subconsciously calm that shit down, you know. But subconsciously you're very like within your subconscious, and this is also the house of Pisces, so this is like and if it's in the moon, so it's a trine, and it's also a sextile, you know. So with this, you know, you also like to build within your subconscious, right? Because the 12th house could also be the house of creativity. So you may be a very creative person with the moon Taurus in the 12th house. You know what I'm saying? You may be a very creative person too. And subconsciously, you're also a very creative person. You know what I'm saying? Because having a Taurus moon makes you a very Venusian creative person. But having it in the 12th house, you're also subconsciously doing this, you know? So your dreams also may be very beautiful. You may have very lucid dreams. But they're also very stable. I feel like for the most part, you're very stable subconsciously, and you know how to like ground yourself and not kind of get too shaken. Like Pisces, like no having any control whatsoever. You know, it's kind of like you have some kind of grounding. You're very grounded in your subconscious. But yeah, that concludes my video in Taurus moon in the houses, and next is Gemini. Bye.